In this video, we'll be talking about Prime Day. It's the big festival organized by Amazon in different parts of the world, Amazon US, Amazon Europe, and I guess in Asia as well. And today we will have 3 guests, and we will be covering we will cover a lot of tips how to prepare for Prime Day, starting with inventory planning, thinking of which products to select for the Prime Day. Also, you will get tips on advertising, what ads to run, and many other tips. And this video is presented together with Sellzone. It's a toolbox for Amazon sellers to maintain and grow their Amazon business. Sellzone is powered by Semrush. So you will find the link below in the description as well. And now I would like to introduce you to our video co-host, LISETT. Hi, LISETT.
Hi, Augustas, and hi to everybody watching us today. Hope you're excited to learn all things about Prime Day and how to be successful.
And let's bring our guests. So it's Liran, Colby, and Robin. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Cool. So maybe let's start with Colby and then Robin and then Liran. Could you shortly introduce yourself, what you do in Amazon space? How do you help Amazon sellers?
My name is Colby Almond. I am the director of online marketplaces for ViscoSoft. We're one of the leading mattress topper bedding sellers on Amazon. And so I handle everything for our company, from helping with inventory forecasting to rankings to PPC strategy. Basically, if it involves Amazon, I am definitely have my hands in it. And I really like doing these webinars, speaking at conferences, and sharing the information that I've gleaned from having this job.
All right. And now, Robin, what about you?
Hi, I'm Robin, and I'm from Marketplace Blueprint. We're a boutique agency that specializes only in Amazon. So I've been eating, sleeping, breathing Amazon for about 12 years. I know more about Amazon than anybody ever should. And so I get to the joy of working with small to medium-sized companies, some as big as publicly traded, to help them manage their listings on Amazon, their advertising, and just all of the frustrations that can happen, that can be part of dealing with Amazon. So we kind of smooth out those bumps for them.
Great. And finally, Liran. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you for having me on. Liran Hirschkorn, been in the Amazon space since 2014. Play a couple of roles today. CEO and founder of Incrementum Digital, marketing agency mainly focused on Amazon advertising and listing optimization for brands to help scale on Amazon, as well as DSP. And also an advisor to 8Fig, which helps sellers with growth capital.
Great.
Okay, very good. Yeah, thank you so much. So now, let's get started, and let's first have Robin take the stage to talk about inventory management and how to deal with inventory and to prepare for the Prime Day.
Yes, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me know if you can't see my slides. So preparing for Prime Day is a very, it can be really, really exciting. And there's a lot of talk about this is the right way to do it, or this is the right way to do it. You know, because we work with companies of a variety of size, there's a lot of different ways that you can do Prime Day. And the way that you want to look at your strategy is going to depend on a couple things. And I'm really excited for Colby and Liran to share some of the data points and some of the things that they've been seeing. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the overarching things. Now, if you want to think about the type of product, you know, your current ranking and competitors, but you also, you know, there's a couple things today I'm going to talk about. You might say, well, you know, we're already too late for that kind of promotion, but it is still good to know because somebody might watch this webinar in preparation for next year. So like I said, there's a lot of different ways to do Prime Day. And so, you know, you want to be thinking about, is your product a doorbuster? Is it something, you know, nobody wakes up on Prime Day and they go, I'm so excited to buy deodorant today. That's not the main reason that somebody is going to go to Prime Day. So when you're looking at your strategy, that doesn't mean that you can't get a good significant bump on that specific day, but we want to think about the kind of product you are and the kind of customer that's coming to Amazon. Are they going to come to Prime Day specifically to buy your product? Or are they going to be adding, their Roomba or their TV or their Echo, and then they're going to be looking for other things that they need that might have a discount? And that's going to affect kind of the type of deals that you offer, the type of advertising, because the way that conversions happen on ads, the way that people are shopping is going to change a little bit right before. Remember, coupons can be a very small percentage off. So if your margins didn't allow you to do a lightning deal, then you can look at a coupon, and Colby's got some great data on what kind of coupon to put on. I don't want to share too much there. So make sure you're looking at all of the different options and thinking about the kind of buyer and whether they're looking for a discount just to kind of scratch that itch for Prime Day of I want a discount, and they might be willing to add more to their cart than they might normally do. And remember, there's a difference as you're listening to different strategies when we're working with private label brands. So if you have something that maybe you imported from China and it's the same mold as everybody else, then your strategy is going to be different than an established brand with brick and mortar and that has a lot of brand affinity. Because of, for example, with Lego, because of the affinity that they have, people who are really into Lego are naturally going to look for Lego for those for specific deals for the things that they're shopping for. So we want to consider not only kind of what kind of how people are going to look at our product, but also the brand affinity and how that changes the way that we want it to change our advertising, the way that we want to look at should we invest more in trying to focus on organic placement up to Prime Day? Should we do a lot of advertising before, or should we wait until the day of? But then as much as possible, even for items that you don't expect a big Prime Day increase for, we really do recommend a coupon to make sure that you are capturing some of those sales. But it is important that we keep our eyes on the prize. And ultimately, unless you're working for a large investment, you're publicly traded, you have some reason you're really focused on top line revenue over bottom line revenue, then you want to really take a dive into profitability before you finalize your Prime Day plan. When we're talking about that, I want to make sure that, with my plan coupons, what is my target ACoS? How much am I willing to go over? And especially thinking about whether your product is a consumable or not. So maybe you can take a big hit on this first initial Prime Day sale. You could take a loss, knowing that your product is great and your customers are going to reorder every 3 months. So while you're taking an overall loss on that specific month or date when you're looking at your numbers, we know that there's going to be a good lifetime value for those customers. If you've already done the work to understand what the lifetime value of your customer is, then it can make sense to go really all in. If you're a product that people buy once and only once, then it's going to be especially important that you watch your margins and make sure you're profitable on those days. Now, of course, there's brand awareness and getting more brand awareness out there. We want to make sure we're really making sure that we're ensuring that there's enough margin to run the coupon, increase ad spend, and all of those things. Remember, people are looking for discounts. So we want to make sure that, that you have something on there. For most products, if it doesn't make sense for a Prime Day deal, you can do a clippable coupon. You can do some sort of other, BOGO or some other offer, but you want to make sure you have some sort of coupon available. Some of the offers that are like, buy one, get one free, those are great if you're trying to increase average order total. Whereas, coupons can play, in our experience, for most products, are going to help increase your click-through rate, can help with your cost of ads, because those coupons do show in the SERPs, in the search engine result pages, so that can be really helpful. So again, you want to think about knowing who you are, because not all products are going to get that big Prime Day bump. So if you are a product that is not something that people are going to be looking for specifically on Prime Day, then you want to make sure that you're not sacrificing long-term strategy for short-term gains on one day. Because CPCs can rise, for some of our brands, what we really do recommend is that they actually pull back on their ads and wait for Prime Day to end when people have utilized a lot of their monthly budget that they might normally have for the rest of the month. Now, that's not the right strategy for all brands by any means. For some brands, you really do want to go all in, but it is really looking at the type of product, your buyer, and what motivates your buyer. So if you haven't dug into the psychographics of your customer, now is a really great time to do that. Digging into the psychographics, digging into the profitability of your products before we get to these big sales. And you can use Prime Day as a chance to kind of audition for yourself and see what you can expect for Q4, especially if this is maybe the first or the third, anywhere between 1 and 3 Q4s for you, because the numbers have been a little wonky for the last couple of years. You can kind of get a better idea of how you'll perform in this upcoming Q4 as well. Finally, we want to make sure we're looking at supply and demand. When we look at that, we want to look at the kind of that, well, how is supply and demand going to change your overall strategy? So if you have low supply and your competitors have low supply, but there's a lot of high demand, then you can consider reducing your discount. You could even potentially raise your price slowly and incrementally to avoid that buy box suppression, and then run a coupon specifically per Prime Day. Now, that's only going to work if most of your competitors are out of stock and you anticipate them staying out of stock. So for example, we have one client that we work with where after all of their competitors make their stuff in China, they make theirs in the US. And so they've had a lot of supply where their competitors have been out of stock for a very long time. So it can make sense to do this in very specific circumstances. But if there's a lot of supply, then this is going to work against you and you're going to be going in the wrong direction. Now, if without considering Prime Day, do I have enough inventory to stay in stock before my next shipment comes in? If the answer to that is no, then I would recommend skipping Prime Day. And the reason for that is if you're already going to run out of stock, there's no sense giving up additional margin, because any gains that you might have made on organic ranking are going to be kind of lost. So I want you to kind of protect that margin so you have additional cash flow. Now, I know that there's lots of people who are going to disagree with me on that, and that's okay. Like I said, there's a million ways to do Prime Day. Now, and then take advantage of some of the advertisers that will pull back on their budgets after Prime Day, especially if Prime Day did not go well for them. So you can look at that and take a look at potentially taking that off. If you're working with an agency, they should be working with you on inventory levels. When you see your inventory levels are starting to drop, they should naturally be pulling back on those ads to make sure we're not giving away any excess margin than outside of what is already necessary on the platform. Now, if you consider Prime Day and you do have enough stock, then look at about 30 to 90% of your peak daily sales, depending on product type during Q4. So if you're deodorant, maybe look at a 30% side. If you're Roombas, then maybe look at a 90%. Some people have even more sales than they do on their highest Q4 day on Prime Day, but it really is product specific and dependent on the strategy and how well you execute the strategy that you're utilizing. Now, if that is the case, where you do have enough, then if you do have enough, then you would want to focus your ad budget on ad budget and on organic ranking, and see if you can pull back the couple days before Prime Day, and then really focus on coupons to kind of carry the day. You can focus on the coupons to help increase your overall conversions, but maybe not drive the advertising to try to force additional sales if you feel like you might already not have enough stock, and if you don't already have enough stock to make it through. The other thing you can do is you can always start those ads, and as you're watching throughout the week and the day, you can always adjust your ads. If you're working with an agency, make sure you've communicated ahead of time about what targets. It helps us so much when a brand says, by product, this is the ACOS, the ACOS and the TACOS that we're looking for, and really consider TACOS and not just ACOS. I love doing TACOS by product. You can't live and die by it. You have to kind of know that it's a little bit of a fuzzy number, but it can be really helpful for you to identify what products are performing well for you on ads right now, so that you can focus your ads, if you want to focus your ads kind of in a laser focused way versus kind of a flashlight way, to really focus on a couple products that you're trying to make a big difference for. Now, if you have ample inventory, now you need to look at how far is all in for you and your products and your ad campaigns. Prime Day is an expensive day to try to take ranking ground, so your goal should be focused on profitability, brand awareness, and sometimes top line sales. Again, there's lots of ways to do that. So lots of ways to attack Prime Day. So look at your overall inventory levels, look at your risk tolerance and profitability goals. If you're working in a large organization, maybe an enterprise, then you have to talk to your stakeholders ahead of time to make sure that they're clear of the potential benefits of having a really great Prime Day on long-term organic ranking, because a lot of stakeholders that maybe are more familiar with the Google side, on Google, your advertising doesn't necessarily impact your organic rankings. On Amazon, because everything is so interrelated, it does change the way that we approach days like this and the strategy for our overall ranking and the way that we want to run our ads long term. And then think about the kind of, look at how coupons have done in the past. If you haven't run any coupons, now's a great time to do some A/B testing on coupons to see how much they impact your sales and look at any price elasticity that you might have in your products. And then also consider the type of brand affinity for how much people are going to be looking for your products and coming specifically for your products. If you have a couple years of data, look back to previous Prime Day sales, look back to the actual conversion rates, look at the number of coupons clipped and the coupons that were maybe clipped but not redeemed to kind of see what worked and what didn't work for last year. Now, I'm really excited for Colby to share some more hard data. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking so he can share his brilliance.
Okay, thank you very much, Robin, for this presentation. It was very interesting to listen to you. And now let's invite Colby here to give some ideas how to use data to prepare a Prime Day strategy.
So I wanted to go over some of the more key data points. Robin touched on a lot of these and just wanted to go kind of into more depth with it. Of course, for each Prime Day, you're going to have a checklist. If you're a seller, you probably have a lot of these. Inventory, as Robin pointed to, was probably one of the most important aspects of Prime Day this year, as was last year and basically all of the COVID period. But you want to search for, optimized titles, descriptions, A+ content, and just do a rundown to make sure that you have all of your crosses checked there and prepare your ads, storefront, etc. I mean, you can download this later and kind of do the checkboxes yourself. So picking the right products is a question that a lot of sellers have. And as Robin alluded to, you need to think about your stock and lead times to see if you have enough inventory to even do a Prime Day deal. Then you need to choose your best strategy. Am I going to do a lightning deal? Am I going to do a coupon? Am I going to go with pricing? And a lot of that depends on your margins and especially what your competitors are doing. And I'm going to go more into detail about tracking your competitors here. What is your end goal? Do you want to keep rank, steady? A lot of sellers will see a decrease during Prime Day that they have to recover afterwards. Do you want to keep that? Do you want to increase your rank? Do you actually want to be ahead at the end, the last one, staying in stock? There's a lot of questions that you need to answer before we go into Prime Day when you're developing your strategy. So you need to know your competition stock situation. Their weakness can lead to a less expensive Prime Day with better results if you plan this accordingly. One of my favorite things to do is this little trick on Amazon is to go to your competitors and in your cart, just add 999. I believe that's the most you can add to a cart. And it'll come back and say how many units your competitor actually has available. So once you have this number, you know that they have a set number of quantity of items available. And chances are if they import from China and they sell, only a couple of items, you can use some tools known as that use the government's data to track inbound shipping, and you can kind of see how many shipments they have coming in and guess, when their inventory should be arriving. And through this and kind of keeping tabs on it, you can pretty well make a good estimation based on their run rate, how soon they're going to stock out, and even if they're going to have the stock for Prime Day. And so is that an unfair advantage? No. I mean, it's all out there, and you should really take advantage of it. So if you see that your competition has a high inventory count, you can pretty much guess that they're going to go aggressive with the discounts. And if that's the case, you're probably going to want to compete if you want to keep your rank. If they have a low inventory, they're probably going to pass on the discounts and deals. So if the stock out looks possible, then it's best to just sit back and wait. No use in eating up costs to keep your rank when if they stock out, you're going to be ahead of them anyways at the end of the day. If you don't know what they're going to do, just do what's best for your brand. Robin went into a couple of points about what you can do strategy wise, and I'm going to go into the more coupon area because lightning deals versus coupons, I tend to lean towards the coupons just because there's no upfront cost that you have to pay to Amazon, and I typically see better results in both the redemption rate and the increase of rank. So one of the biggest things is tracking your competitors' actions that they're going to do on Prime Day. Sorry about the text overlay there. I use Keepa to go back and look at historical data of my competitors and see kind of what their strategy is leading up to Prime Day. Using this data, you can go through and see, are they increasing price prior to Prime Day, then going with a steep discount, then increasing again after Prime Day. And one of the things I did was I went into brand analytics and pulled the top 3 sellers or items from Prime Day last year in every category. And what I saw was in the 6 weeks leading up to Prime Day, nearly 60% of the sellers increased their prices. And of those 60% of sellers, they increased their prices on average an increase of 10%. And of those increase, their average discount on Prime Day was 20%. So why are they increasing prior to Prime Day? Because it makes it look like a bigger discount, and it makes users more likely to buy when Prime Day hits, which leads to after Prime Day when they usually, nearly 25% of them, raise prices to a point that was actually lower than the pre-Prime Day price. So you're not getting as much of a deal after Prime Day or after Prime Day than you were before. It just makes the Prime Day deals look a lot better for them. With all that said, don't be afraid to skip out. One thing that you're going to notice is a pre-Prime Day slump. It's in rankings as pretty much every year. And if you don't do any deals, you're going to see post-Prime Day slump because your competitors are going to have that sales velocity and conversion rate, which will increase their rankings, but it's very quickly overcame because as soon as Prime Day is over, their conversion rate is going to decrease rapidly, and they're going to start to lose some ground. And it usually takes us about a week or two to regain our rankings to what they were before. And sometimes we see better. Especially last year, we didn't do a lot of coupons, if we did any at all, due to the stock out situations of our competitors. And after Prime Day, we were sitting very pretty at the top of the category just because we had the guts not to do anything on Prime Day and just hold steady. So if you're going to go the coupon route, here's kind of what you can expect. Without a coupon on Prime Day, you're still going to see an increase in revenue just because, customers have their wallets out and they're ready to spend. And you're still going to show up in ads and some of Amazon's recommended. And if you have editorial recommendations, you're still going to be there and you're still going to benefit from that traffic. Sales rank last year, as I said, we had a lot of stockouts. We didn't see a huge decrease. We actually saw an increase in Prime Day rankings, and especially afterwards. I mean, we didn't drop barely anything at all. If we did, we just gained it right back the very next day. Conversion rate, of course, increased, minimal at 10%, and sessions were up 140%. Just because a lot of more people are clicking, although you're going to get a ton more sessions in your categories, which will drop your click-through rate tremendously. But overall, the click-through rate might be down, but you're going to see more sessions overall. So why use coupons? As Robin said, alluded to earlier, it gives you that nice, pretty green ribbon there. And in Amazon, especially within the SERPs, it's a game of real estate and visibility. And having that green coupon there just takes the user's eyes to your product and makes them more likely to click. How likely are they to click? Here's a no coupon versus coupon difference. So using a coupon, we see a 32% increase in click-through rate, 46% increase in add to cart. Purchases were up 9.62%, and conversion rate was up nearly 60%. Those are great numbers and pretty good reasons why you should be using coupons at all times. Now, if you can't justify the coupon due to your margins, the lowest you can go on a coupon on Amazon is 5%. I would suggest testing out raising that price, your price if you can, by 5%, and then putting on the coupon and seeing what KPIs are changing and is your rank changing. If you can raise the price and apply the coupon without seeing any downside, then there's no reason not to keep it on there going forward. You're more than likely, as this data shows and is shown me over and over again, going to see an increase in all these KPIs. So I highly suggest that. With coupons, you're going to have the option to do either percentage off or dollars off. And the big question is, what do I use? And what I like to look for is redemption rate. And so let's say I have a $150 product and I have a coupon out there for 20%. That's going to be $30 off, and they're going to reclaim that coupon around 29-30% of the time, which is good. But if we go to the dollar coupons, if I take that $30 that would have been given off with the 20% and apply it to a $30 coupon, we see nearly 36% redemption rate. And you might ask why that is. And there's something called the rule of 100. And it says anything under 100 use percentage discounts because they're going to likely be the higher number. But anything over, use in reverse, go with absolute discounts. And dollars, just because with the mentality of the customers, they see that bigger number, they're more likely to click and buy. It's just the psychology behind it. So when you're looking through and strategizing all of the Prime Day initiatives that you're going to want to do this year, I highly suggest, as I have in the past few slides, just going with the coupons. And just wanted to say thank you, and we'll hand it over to Laurent for his, he'll go into PPC a little more next.
Thank you, Colby. And all the links to all the speakers you will find also in the description of this video. And as well, this webinar we are running together with a cooperation of Sellzone. Sellzone is a toolbox for Amazon sellers, and it can help you with the product research, listing optimization, SEO, and a few other things. So check the link below in the description. And now I want to invite the third speaker of this webinar about Prime Day. Hi, Liran, and I know you are advertising specialist and a few other things but today you will talk about advertising strategies for Prime Day, right?
I'm going to talk about a few advertising strategies and some other things related to Prime Day.
Perfect. We see your screen.
Okay, excellent. So let me skip over to the slides. So one of the things you want to ask yourself is deal or no deal. And why do you want to ask yourself deal or no deal? Will you be running deals? Will you be running, coupons that I would say are meaningful? I would think something meaningful would be something like a 20-25% coupon. Again, depending on the price of your product. If it's a $100 product, 10% maybe could be meaningful. But, for the products that are in the, $20 to $50 range, is it, I would say probably 20-25% is a more meaningful coupon. And the reason why I say that is because what you're likely to see is that conversion rates are going to be lower during the few days, 3, 4, 5 days leading up to Prime Day. And the question is, should you be advertising during those days? Or perhaps not an absolute question of should you be advertising or should you not be advertising, but more of a question of should you lower your budget? Should you not be, should you not advertise at the same level? And I think you want to try to understand if you should or you shouldn't do that. If you're going to have coupons and deals, my suggestion is you should, because while you're not going to convert as well during those days, people are browsing, they're looking for products, and they're going to come back during Prime Day to go back and look at your product. They might add it to cart to see if it's going to have a deal or a coupon. And so I would recommend that you continue to advertise. If you aren't really running any deals, any coupons, you don't really have the the inventory levels, etc. You may want to consider sort of reducing your maybe budgets or bids on the few days leading up to Prime Day. And the reason is because the conversion rates are going to be lower. You're going to find a lot more people browsing than actually buying in those days, because they're going to want to check around a deal. So we've historically seen conversion rates, go down by a few percentage points leading up to Prime Day. Then they obviously increase a lot, and then they go back down after Prime Day for another, few days, 3-4 days, and then they kind of come back to to normal levels. So this is kind of what you should expect, and what you should how you should think about whether or not you want to make any changes. Now, what about your budgets and bids for Prime Day itself? Well, let's first make the assumption, right? Assuming you have inventory. If you don't have the inventory, then it doesn't make sense to increase your budgets. It doesn't make sense to increase your bids. It doesn't make sense to do any of that. I would say, focus on profitability and, make your business strong, and you'll still do well, but obviously not as well as if you are running, running deals. We've seen wide ranges of sales in previous Prime Days, anywhere from 2x the sales up to 5x the sales, depending on the products and deals, whether you're running deals or not. Let's assume that you do have the inventory and you are running some coupons or have some things that are a little bit better in terms of pricing. We generally recommend that you 2x your budget for Prime Day itself, and then lower it back to normal the day after Prime Day. We haven't seen necessarily, or the 2 days, that 2-day period, and then lower it back the day when Prime Day ends. It's usually about 2 days or so. We have not seen necessarily an increase to raise bids. Amazon will send you emails and will encourage you to raise your bids. We do see the average cost per click rise somewhat during Prime Day, but I don't see really a reason to get more aggressive raising your bids. We find that our clients generally don't need to raise their bids, and they'll still have a lot of sales, and they will actually have a better ACoS. One of the things you could do also is, if you don't want to necessarily 2x the budget, or even if you do 2x the budget, stay on top of your budget during the day so that you can watch it and you can immediately raise the budget if you want to do that. We've had customers in the past that weren't sure what they wanted to do with the budget. They kind of wanted to see what their sales are like, and so they increased the budget somewhat, but not 2x. And then during the day, we just watched it, and we kind of made those calls, sort of like a game time call, based on the sales and also based on the ACoS that we saw in the advertising console. Now, one thing to note is that, yes, you'll see an ACoS during the day in the advertising console, but just know that that doesn't fully reflect all the attributed sales, because the attribution doesn't come until typically the product is shipped. And you will see the ACoS there, but chances are it'll improve within the next day or two, because you'll see the full attribution of sales, and possibly even over the next couple weeks as full attribution comes in. But you can get a good sense, if the ACoS is very high versus sort of more within your typical levels, you can get a good sense of what's happening by also watching the budget. It's just one of those things, again, you need to decide how you're going to do that. Let's talk about day parting. So day parting is a method that some software tools allow you to do automatically. And you can also do this manually. I believe Seller Central Advertising Console now allows you to do a little bit of this also automated through the advertising console. We do it with software if we do it. But consider day parting if you will run out of budget. So let's say you have a fixed budget and you know that you don't want to raise that budget. You may want to consider doing day parting. So there's going to be so much traffic that you may run out of budget by 12 p.m., 1 p.m. If you're not going to raise your budget, then I would say consider doing day parting, because what we generally see and what we've seen as we've gotten some recent access to some APIs that are giving us daily, hourly data around cost per click, ACoS, conversion rates, is we see generally cost per click going down during the day. Actually, we see the highest cost per click. You would think the highest cost per click would come in the times where there's the most demand, but that's not the case. The highest cost per click is actually starting at 12 a.m. Pacific time up to, and then it goes up and then starts to go down around 5 a.m. towards 8 p.m. We typically see it going down. And the reason is because everybody's budgets reset at 12 a.m. And so when those budgets reset, everybody has budgets again, and there's more competition. And so if you are going to, but the conversions aren't as good necessarily, and the cost per click is typically higher, and the ACoS is higher during those times. So if you know you're going to run out of budget, I would say consider maybe only running ads, let's say from, let's say 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., for example, or as much time as it can last, or maybe even a little bit later, maybe even, and again, depending if the budget's not going to last for that time, then maybe run it from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. at night. And the reason is, again, we typically see people running out of budget during the day, and then you have an opportunity to get better placements at a lower cost per click throughout the day. And again, there's software tools that allow you to do this. We use Perpetua. Perpetua allows you to use this. I'm sure there's other tools that allow you to do this. And again, the worst case is you could do this manually. Obviously, if you want to do this across a lot of campaigns, it takes more work to do that. But it's something you might want to consider doing if you are going to, or you could do it with bulk sheet updates, pausing campaigns, and starting them again. With bulk sheets, but it's something you may want to do if you know you're going to run out of budget and you kind of want to stay within that budget. Another thing that I wanted to touch on is that, this is a good opportunity to drive traffic to your storefront. One of the things you'll see here in the storefront is the follow button. Actually, Amazon recently put out that on Prime Day, people, followers of your brand, are going to see deals, coupons on their homepage, on their app. So building up followers is really important. I think it's going to become increasingly important for Amazon. The way you build up followers is sending traffic to your storefront where you have that follow button, or by doing Amazon posts, which also have that little follow button. One thing, the reason why I have a screenshot of this brand called Dash, they're a pretty big brand. They sell all kinds of kitchen products. I think they're kind of known for their air fryers. They're one of the top sellers of air fryers. I want you to pay attention to their store, because they did this last year, and I believe they'll do it again this year. Leading up to Prime Day, they actually changed their homepage to, a banner on top that says Prime Day deals coming soon. And then they have their whole first page is all focused around Prime Day and all the products that they plan to have coupons and deals for on this page. And actually, you should watch their storefront all year, because they actually update their store for a variety of different events. In the fall, it looks like fall. It looks like, those orange, type colors we see in the fall. In Christmas and holiday time, it's holiday themed. Prime Day, they have a theme. So they do an awesome job. And this is a great store to follow. And you can see what they're doing leading up to Prime Day. And if you have an opportunity to work on the design for your storefront, and you are running deals, and you have, multiple products, you may want to update your storefront and then use sponsored brand ads to drive traffic to that storefront. Amazon has been showing now the coupons and limited time deals, etc., on the sponsored brand ads, and it's a great way to build followers, get traffic to your storefront, cross-sell more products. And one of the things that I love about the Amazon storefront is this is the only real estate that exists on Amazon, the only space, only real estate that does not have any of your competitors advertising. In fact, there is no advertising. It's just kind of your space, and you can send traffic there without people seeing other products ads. Obviously, once they click on a product, if they don't add it to cart directly from your store and they go to your listing, yes, there's going to be ads there. But this is a lot of great real estate where people can just focus on your products and how you can kind of guide them around your store and which products you want to feature. There's lots of reports available as far as your sales in the storefront, conversion rates, which products are getting the most impressions. So you can also use that data to decide which products to feature where. But for Prime Day, you may want to focus your homepage around the storefront. One other thing, another piece of advice, something you could still do, you still have time, is working with influencers. You see that big number there, $13.8 billion. This is the global influencer marketing value. This is the marketing value that's going to be driven by influencers in 2022, $13.8 billion. If you're running deals, if you're running coupons, reach out to influencers. Sometimes they'll work with you for just free product or $50, $100. We're able to work with influencers that have, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, up to 500,000 followers on TikTok, between free product, if the product is really good and they like it, all the way up to $300 if they have 400,000 or 500,000 followers. So you can work with influencers at a very low cost. One of the tools that we use is called Hipsy to find influencers. It's we use some other tools that are more expensive as well, but Hipsy specifically is only, I think, like $50 a month, HEEPSY, and you can go there and find influencers. One of the things I recommend doing on that site is that you can filter for influencers that have their email address on their profile, and then you could reach out directly by email to them and negotiate to showcase your product around Prime Day deals. And there's probably going to be a lot of influencers that are doing sort of like special, Prime Day deal kind of posts and stuff with products that they're going to buy, on Prime Day or that they like. And it's another good opportunity to drive external traffic into your product. And then I think this is the last slide. One thing you may want to consider is doing retargeting post Prime Day. If you're not doing retargeting now, I would turn it on maybe just a little bit before Prime Day, so you start to build those audiences using sponsored display ads. So this is something traditionally you could only do with Amazon DSP, but using sponsored display ads, you can actually do retargeting of products. And so this basically retargets everybody who's viewed your product but did not purchase, and shows them display ads on and off Amazon after they visited the listing and didn't buy. And so it's an opportunity to maybe get people back. Maybe they, added the product to cart. They didn't get a chance to buy it during the deal. They saw it, they meant to buy it, they got distracted. They're going to come back. Maybe they buy it without the deal anyway, because they really want to buy the product. And so retargeting, getting those, that massive sort of traffic that you're getting and leveraging it, that's coming during Prime Day, retargeting it and bringing those audiences back. It's kind of a low cost way to try to get sales that you may have missed during Prime Day and get people back to your listings. So I think this is one of the last things here. You want to really optimize your listings. Obviously, ahead of Prime Day, this really shouldn't be a slide, because these are things you should be doing all year. But it's an opportunity if you're not using things like Helium. Sellzone, obviously, great tool to be able to. Sellzone has some things about like external traffic and where the sources are coming from, and that's another good tool. And Data Dive, doing keyword research, using updating your main images, secondary images, A+ content, things like cross-selling within your main images, like buy this product and this product, save 20% off or 10% off or whatever in an image for a Prime Day coupon that you put for the bundle. Amazon posts, having a comparison carousel in your A+ content, and also making sure that you are watching things that are happening on Amazon that, don't really happen anywhere else. But I'll give you an example. One of our clients sells sandals, and they were ranking very well for the keyword sandals for women, which last year and the year before had a ton of traffic. And the reason why it had a ton of traffic is because when you typed in sandals, Amazon in the auto suggest started to show sandals for women. But what happened in the since last year and this year, Amazon started to show sandals women in the auto suggest instead of sandals for women. And they were not ranking as well for that keyword. And now that keyword has, according to some of the tools, over 1.5 million in searches a month, where if you look at the history of that search volume, a year ago, it maybe had 200,000 in the peak season, which is now, we're in the peak season for sandals now. And 2 years ago, that keyword had no search volume at all. And it's because it wasn't an auto suggest. So you really need to make sure that you're on top of not just doing keyword research once on your product, but that you're consistently doing keyword research and update your listing based on, some of these things that are happening on Amazon, because the keywords and the search volume doesn't always stay the same. So you want to make sure that you're, paying attention to all these things. Obviously, you want to manage inventory. You want to make sure you're restocking. Really important based on your Prime Day sales. Gearing up for the fourth quarter. Leverage opportunities to scale using things like growth capital to really scale your business to make sure you have enough inventory for Q4, especially with all the supply chain issues that are going on. So that's really important that you start to really think about the fourth quarter now, and especially based on your sales around Prime Day. And that's it. Hopefully this was useful.
Yes, thank you very much, Liran. I see some questions are coming, and I want to bring back Colby and Robin as well. And those who are watching, please type your questions in the chat box. So 3 Amazon experts will be happy to help you with your issues about Prime Day or worries. And all the links to all the speakers today you will find below in the description. And also this webinar we're running together in cooperation with Sellzone. And also you can get their free 14-day trial below in the description as well. So Lisette, can you take the first questions, please? Oops.
Yes, sure. Yeah, we do have already some first questions. So the first one is here. Is Prime Day only good for your FBA inventory, or should we apply this advice to merchant fulfillment as well? Anybody of you who would like to answer to that one?
It can apply to both. So if you're selling garlic presses and you don't have a Prime offer, Godspeed with you, because it's going to be tough. You're not going to get much traction. If you are selling, Murphy beds and nobody else is selling them Prime because they're so big, nobody has up to that Prime badge, then it's equal footing. So we saw this, at the beginning of the pandemic when all of the Prime offers got delayed, merchant fulfilled got more traction. So you really have to look at your competitors to see what your closest competitors have. If your closest competitors have Prime, you need to have that Prime offer in order to be competitive on Amazon, unless you have some sort of magical thing that makes your product different, or like an intense amount of brand affinity, but like at the level of like Lego, where people like would only buy your brand. So that would be my opinion.
Yeah. Merchant fulfilled, you need to make absolutely sure you have all your ducks in a row when it comes to fulfillment, and that you can handle that spike, because as you might have noticed, Amazon is very strict, especially with seller fulfilled currently, because they want more merchants to go FBA. So if you see that increase in late shipments, it could have your account. You might get a slap on the wrist. You could be shut down for 30 days. So it's a headache you don't want to deal with, and you just want to talk to your distributors and your contacts to make sure that they can handle what you're planning on doing during Prime Day.
Okay, very good. Very good replies from both of you. And Colby, actually, we have a question for you. So Michael is asking, can Colby give an example of the rule of 100, as it was a bit confusing since his product had a $30 discount and the dollar coupon seemed better off than the percentage off?
Yeah, sorry if it was confusing. So the example was have a $150 product, and if I give a $30 coupon, that would be the same as giving a 20% off coupon in terms of percentage. The $30 is obviously the higher number, and that's why the redemption rate is going to be upwards of almost 40%, as compared to when you give the 30 or the 20% coupon, it's going to give you like a 28% redemption rate. So with both examples, you're going to be spending the exact same amount of money, but having that higher dollar value is going to be better. Whereas with lower price items, you can afford to have a higher percentage instead of the dollar off, and in that case, the percentage is going to work better. So that's kind of the rule of 100 that I was talking about.
Okay, very good. Thank you for the detailed reply. Then I think we have a question regarding Liran's presentation. So there's a question, how exactly do you double your budget for Prime Day? Do you raise bids?
So no, so I mentioned we generally don't necessarily recommend raising bids. You don't need to, but the reason how you, so it's not 2K, but 2X your budget is there's just so much more traffic that you know, you're just going to be able to spend more money. Basically, there's a ton more traffic on the platform. So if you just raise your budget, you will, chances are, if you are currently using a lot of your budget currently, then you'll be able to double the budget easily on Prime Day.
Great. We have a few more questions. Kim wants to know, is it safe to increase the price 20% higher than current price, then add 20 or 25% coupon discount? Then what price for after the Prime Day, please?
No, I would absolutely not do that. The example I was giving was 5%, the minimum discount that you can give. If, you know, it is a higher priced item, say $145, then going to $149 typically isn't going to impact your sales and conversion rate that much, as long as you give that 5% discount. So that's my suggestion. Once you get upwards of 5%, then it gets a little tricky. So you don't want to get flagged or anything like that.
And you know, in my opinion here is, you're assuming the consumer is stupid, right? When you do this, in a sense, and you're assuming they're not looking at other products and other prices. And you know, maybe if you're doing this on your website, you might trick some consumers. Although, do you really want to trick your audience that's buying your product? I don't know. It's a separate question. But you know, on Amazon, it's a marketplace, so really people are comparing and seeing other products around you, and so. Sure, you can increase your price 20% higher and then add a coupon, but you likely won't get the results of really the increased sales velocity, because actually I think it'll be worse, right? Because a lot of people don't clip the coupon or even pay attention or notice the coupon. And so they'll just perceive you as higher priced, and you're less likely to actually get clicks and sales. And so I would say this would have the the opposite effect from what you want it to do.
You know, the only time that I would really recommend that you consider raising your price is if all of your competitors are out of stock, you're almost out of stock, there's nothing left on the market. So let's say your product is, this is something that's made in New Zealand, and New Zealand has been shut down for long enough that there's not any way people could be sourcing more. And then you have to do it very slowly and incrementally, or you'll get a buy box suppression. And one of the things that we didn't touch base on that I just wanted to add is, if you have brick and mortar distribution, if you're in Costco, Lowe's, Home Depot, especially Lowe's, you know, make sure you talk and have thought about what their strategy is going to be for trying to capture some of that Prime Day sales. If they put a significantly lower price on the week before Prime Day, you could end up with a brand health alert that could have a buy box suppression, which would make it so you're not able to advertise at all. So that would be a very big deal.
Also, Kim wanted to say, sorry, I didn't mean that audience is stupid, but she probably missed some information from Colby's presentation.
Yeah, my example was if you don't have the margins in an extreme situation, but most people do. So
yeah. All right. Yeah, people are really happy with the content. They say, thank you, Liran. Great tips from Robin. Michael, I think, got answers, so he's happy. And here is a simple question. How do I participate in the Prime Day?
If you're selling products on Amazon, you're participating. And if you want to add a coupon, or it sounds like you didn't submit Prime Day deals, but you can add a coupon on the listing. You can add a Prime Day exclusive coupon, things like that. But anybody selling on Amazon is participating by default.
Yeah, you don't have to. There are deals that require like a bigger. So like if you wanted to do a Prime exclusive discount or Lightning Day deals, most of those deals have already come and gone. So if you haven't done that, then next year. But you can still do coupons. But you can't wait until. I wouldn't recommend if you know that you want to do coupons. You want to start getting some of the things set up and start doing some A/B testing on coupons now. Don't wait until the week of Prime Day and have that be your test. You want to have some data on a normal sales cycle so that you can make better decisions when it comes, because some products do better with coupons than others. And so it might be better to give away, if you're going to give away some of that margin, to do it on the products that are going to get the best results.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
As my data was showing, even if you want to sit back, you're still going to see the effects of Prime Day. So in the case that you absolutely positively want to sit out, that's when you look at, vacation mode or putting the listings on hold. That would be the only way that you don't see the impact of Prime Day in my mind.
But why would you do that?
Yeah, but why would you do that? Yeah, you're not going to avoid Prime Day.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I would like to ask a question from Michael because he has been submitting the question twice because he already thought he missed the answer. So he wants to know what tools does he use to get day parting information on cost per click and conversion. I think it's for Liran.
So we're actually in a beta. You will see more of this. It's being fully released by Amazon next month. I actually spoke about it on a podcast we have and shared it with a friend that works at Amazon. It got shared around, and then I got a notice to remove that from the podcast. So, but you'll see more on this in late June. And it's going to be through an API. So I believe it'll only be available through software and not through, the Seller Central console. But you can message me privately, Michael, if you want a little bit more information.
And there are several software tools that do day parting on Amazon, but right now the only way to do it is through third-party tools. So, look at if you're using a third-party tool, look at that. I don't know if it's worth switching. If you're only going to do day parting on Prime Day, I don't know if it's worth switching over your software for one day. But I believe PackView has had it. There's several that have it. So, talk to and then also talk and see, they might have betas that are coming up. It just might not be in time for Prime Day.
Yeah, so what the change that's essentially coming is that up until now, Amazon has only released data, a couple times a day, and you didn't really know, they showed you an average cost per click for the day, let's say $1.50, but you might have been getting clicks at $2, at $1.30, conversion rate, different during different times of the day, a cost different at different times of the day, and you're seeing that average. Now they're releasing hourly data on the exact cost per click conversion rate, so you don't necessarily need to do day parting, but you'll actually be able to optimize your bids and how aggressive or not aggressive you want to be, and or day parting based on that information. So it's pretty exciting. You're probably going to hear more about it in the next couple of months.
All right, 2 more questions from our audience. Liz says, maybe this is a question for Colby. What are the pros and cons of using coupon versus using Prime exclusive discounts?
Prime exclusive discounts shows up for Prime customers only. So if you have a handmade product or pieces of furniture, products that attract customers that might not be Prime members, then obviously you want to go coupon. I believe that the Prime exclusive discount is a minimum of 10 or 20% as well. Whereas with a coupon, the minimum is 5%. So it gives you a little more wiggle room in terms of flexibility, especially if you have a lower priced item.
Sometimes they will feature those Prime exclusive discounts, and so that can be a big benefit, but will they feature you? When will they feature you? So it's kind of, a lot of the same things with lightning deals. A lightning deal can be great if it runs at peak season in your product or peak time. But if it runs from, 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., then that can be, you're not going to get as much of a lift, and we don't always have control. We don't have control over those things. So that's kind of why, I think Colby and I kind of tend towards the coupons is I like at least to pretend like I have a little control, and I feel like I have a little bit more, but for the right product, a lightning deal or a Prime exclusive detail, because that potential of being featured can be a big boost.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's the last question for now. Do you have any recommendation for bone health vitamins category?
Oof, that's a tough category.
Your question is too broad to understand what you're asking.
That's like, how long is a piece of string? Yeah, we just because it could be recommendations for listings. It could be recommendations for like how to, be successful in advertising in a competitive landscape. There's a lot of things that go into supplements, but I will say with supplements, everything needs to be on A game. There's no B game. You need to be on A+ game, like front row seat. for everything, which means there's just less wiggle room. It's very competitive. Same thing if you're doing cell phone cases. Your listing has to be completely on point. Your advertising needs to be well managed, and you can't just throw things in software and hope it works out.
All right. Okay, we have one more from Kim. PPC tips, please, because the bids are so high.
Yeah, you may want to go. Well, here's the thing. When people are selling supplements, they are in some sense relying on repeat sales. So you may not be profitable on your first sale. You may want to look for other, methods of advertising, like long tail keywords that potentially could be less search volume but could be lower cost. You may even consider Google ads into Amazon. Maybe that's cheaper and maybe a similar or a cost because of the lower cost per click, but it'll probably convert less. Working with influencers, you may want to use other methods, but the bids are really high. That's because people are looking to acquire a customer and not just make one profitable sale. And you need to sort of account for, are people reordering your products? Do you have a great product that people are getting on subscribe and save? And that's really the way you kind of monetize a, highly competitive consumable product. If you're new in the market with this and you don't know a ton about Amazon, my advice would be get out of that market.
I would kind of say something similar. So if you are a supplement company, so if you are working for Nature Made, then that's different than this is a private label product that I just made. I have one product. If that's the case, if you're just, this isn't your only private label, I would say go back to your sourcing and rework on. So I would say the easier path is going to be for you to start over with a product that be less competitive. If you are working for a large company and you're trying to get Amazon hold, then I would start with your branded search is going to be a great place to start. And then retargeting on Amazon is starting to get better. So looking at, having a higher, maybe a higher cost of acquisition to get the initial sales and using retargeting to help increase overall repeat purchases. And then like Liran said, I 100% agree on influencer marketing and some of the off Amazon marketing. I know Facebook has been kind of a bloodbath lately because of the privacy things, but there's still a lot of options that are available. And, so just identify really where your audience is and starting there because just to compete on the keywords is going to be very expensive. So unless you have very deep pockets, I would probably recommend another yellow brick road.
And one other thing too, in general with supplements or anything that you take, again, if you have a product without a lot of reviews, doesn't have a lot of social proof, and you're going to go out to influencers and they have to take the product and eat it, it's also harder and more challenging to get influencers. So we recently, within the last 6 months, tried to help somebody get influencers for a migraine supplement, and it was very, very challenging. And that product has close to 1,000 reviews on Amazon, and it was very challenging. People just were not interested in just taking this product. It didn't really matter the amount of money so much to promote it. It was just challenging. So certain products, it could work if you find the right influencers, and maybe a bone broth is more of like a fitness kind of thing than a vitamin C or something. But it could be challenging also to get people who don't know your product to take something, put it in their body with influencer marketing. So there are some challenges there as well.
I'm sorry, I just want to add one more thing, that this kind of product is a great product where it's worth it to invest in doing actual studies and providing content on the listing and providing content to your influencers of studies that show that your product is safe, that it's effective. And so those studies need to be done correctly. They can't be done by you. They need to be done by a third-party company. It's not like, well, I say this works better. You need to send the product to them. They need to run an actual legitimate scientific study. And then once you have that study, then you're going to be able to get it approved and to put into A+ content, where a lot of those claims you won't be able to get into your A+ content unless you have the scientific study to back that up.
All right. Great. So I think that's all. We have covered all the questions. Let me check. Kim says, will 162 reviews of 4.6 enough for vitamins with influencers in your opinion? It's getting off topic, but last.
I mean, for influencers, yeah, that might be okay. Generally in the market for a bone broth supplement, it's very small. It's very tough. So unless you are, pricing well under market, or there's something unique about your product that's different than others, this is the type of product you need to lose money long enough until you build up reviews to become relevant. It's not something I think that you could be profitable on quickly.
All right, that's it. Thank you very much. So all three guests, could you please tell us one more time what you do in Amazon Space and how people can connect with you? Robin.
So I'm Robin Johnson at marketplaceblueprint.com. And we work with small to medium-sized companies, so think like around the size of Shark Tank up to large publicly traded companies. But we are also open to small pre-revenue companies as well. So we do a full account management, listing optimization, and or advertising as well.
All right, Colby.
Colby Allman, Director of Online Marketplaces at ViscoSoft, in-house, but I have a lot of experience in agency. So I've worked across dozens and dozens, pretty much any category you can think of. I have some kind of experience with small to large clients. So it's best to just reach me on LinkedIn. Any questions you have, I'm always available to answer and actually enjoy doing it. So thanks.
All right, and Liran?
Liran Hirschkorn. I'm with incrementumdigital.com. We help sellers with listing optimization as well as advertising and Amazon DSP. I'm also an advisor to 8Fig, which is 8fig.co, and they help brands with growth capital for your inventory marketing, financing your supply chain.
Thank you very much, everyone. Liran, Colby, Robin, and LISETT. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And now I would like to invite you to watch the full demo of Sellzone, which was in cooperation for this webinar. So check this video and see what they do and how they help Amazon sellers.